Hello and welcome to the first week in a brand new series, This Week in Tyranny, for October 19th, 2015. So it was a great week to do this. We had the Democratic debate recently in the US and some kind of really cringe-worthy moments in this. Let's start with Hillary Clinton on executive order.
That's why I would go further than even the executive orders that President Obama has signed when I'm president.
So what the hell is executive order and why is it so important? Well, I believe it was candidate Barack Obama who in 2007 so eloquently explained just how executive orders lead to tyranny. Let's check it out.
When Congress offers you a bill, do you promise not to use presidential signage to get your way?
Yes. Let me just explain for those who are unfamiliar with this issue. We've got a government designed by the founders so that there'd be checks and balances. You don't want a president who's too powerful, or a Congress who's too powerful, or a courts who's too powerful. Everybody's got their own role. Congress's job is to pass legislation. The president can veto it or he can sign it. But what George Bush has been trying to do as part of his effort to accumulate more power in the presidency is he's been saying, well, I can basically change what Congress passed by attaching a letter saying, I don't agree with this part or I don't agree with that part. I'm going to choose to interpret it this way or that way. That's not part of his power. But this is part of the whole theory of George Bush, that he can make laws as he's going along. I disagree with that. I taught the Constitution for 10 years. I believe in the Constitution, and I will obey the Constitution of the United States. We're not going to use signing statements as a way of doing an end run around Congress. All right?
Obama was absolutely correct in this video. He was absolutely correct that President Bush was doing them and that they were illegal and he should have been punished for it, absolutely. Then I find it hilarious that he declared himself a constitutional scholar. He knows exactly what the Constitution means and he knows that these things are illegal, and then he goes onto his presidency and basically just commits the crime he confessed to doing before doing it. Truly bizarre, but of course in this bizarre world, our leaders are never ever hold to any kind of rules. One set of rules for them, one set of rules for us. I think it's really telling that we've now had a Republican president that has abused executive power. We've now had a Democratic president that's abused executive power. I often say that the Republicans and Democrats work together in advancing the cause of tyranny. They obviously feel that now the American public is sufficiently anesthetized to this issue, so now Hillary can just blazingly say in a debate that she's going to use executive order to circumvent Congress. This effectively makes the US a democratically elected, or the president, I should say, a democratically elected dictator. The checks and balances of the Constitution have just been thrown away and out the window as we advance rapidly towards tyranny. So now let's move on and see what Hillary has to say about whistleblower Edward Snowden.
He broke the laws of the United States. He could have been a whistleblower. He could have gotten all of the protections of being a whistleblower. He could have raised all the issues that he has raised. I don't think he should be brought home without facing the music.
Look, I disagree with Hillary on this. If I had the courage that Snowden did and wanted to do what was right, I would have done the same thing he did. I would not have felt safe being a whistleblower in the US in the current environment. I feel like I would have got persecuted. And I think he's got plenty of valid arguments to suggest that would have been the case. But Hillary's position is defensible. So her statement is, he did break the law. Everybody should be held accountable to the law. Okay, no problem. Let's see how you feel when it is you who are breaking the law, Hillary. You were Secretary of State. It's a very important position with very, very sensitive data passing through your hands. There are very, very strict protocols in place to both protect that data and keep you honest, because obviously there's an incredible opportunity there for you to sell that sensitive data, for you to, say, get your daughter getting paid $80,000 to do a 2-hour speaking gig somewhere for special favors and secrets. So there's all sorts of protections and laws in place to make sure that you're not cheating the system, that you're not selling out the United States citizen, and that the data remains protected. You violated those laws. You broke those laws. Now let's see what you think should happen to you when you break the laws.
Well, I've taken responsibility for it. I did say it was a mistake. What I did was allowed by the State Department, but
Actually, she waffles on for about 3 or 4 minutes without actually saying anything. But suffice it to say, she's not particularly hiding. She's out there running for president, so she obviously thinks that she should get a free pass. Once again, it's one set of rules for the ruling elite and another set of rules for the average citizen. You know, if I steal a car for worth $10,000, I'll go to jail. But, you know, if you are Bernie Madoff and you embezzle hundreds of billions of dollars and steal from millions of people, well, you get a free pass. The ruling elite get one set of privileges and one set of laws, and the rest of the citizenry get another set of laws. And then something really, really interesting happened. When Hilary is finished waffling on about nothing, effectively saying that she should get a free pass on breaking the laws, what happened was Bernie Sanders jumped to her defense and said we should stop talking about her emails. That's a little bit weird, but whatever. Then the entire crowd, not the entire, but huge portions of the crowd get up and give a standing ovation to the notion that we should, you know, give Hilary a free pass on this.
Enough of the emails. Let's talk about the real issues facing America.
thank you, Bernie. Thank you.
Anderson.
It's obviously very popular in this crowd. Thank you. Hold on.
I didn't watch all the debate, but I watched a lot of it. I mean, they were talking about a lot of principles that most Democrats hold dear, you know, gun control and socialism and welfare and all this kind of jargon. And I didn't see any other standing ovations. But this issue got a standing ovation. Yay, yay, let her get away with this. Don't discuss her emails. Really, really weird. And it triggered my memory. I read an article many years ago. I just went and dug it up. Here it is. It's how collectivists use the diamond tactic to sway public meetings and how to thwart them. It was written by an incredible friend of liberty, G. Edward Griffin. And this article is available at Freedom Force International, great.org, great site. Feel free to go and check it out. But here's how this starts. In the 1960s, I came across a small training manual distributed by the Communist Party that showed how a small group of people, as few as 4, could dominate a much larger group and sway the outcome of any action taken by that group. It was called the Diamond Technique. Then I'll just paraphrase from here on in. Basically, the technique is that when you feel surrounded by people and everyone's kind of agreeing with you, then you tend to just be a sheep and go along with the herd. And the way they call it the diamond technique, because if you're sitting in like a town hall meeting, if someone sits at the middle at the front, at the middle at the back, at the middle at the left, and the middle at the right, the vast majority of the crowd feel like you're surrounded by people. So when these 4 people start standing up or doing an action or giving a standing ovation, for example, you feel like you're surrounded by people giving a standing ovation, and very sheep-like, the rest of the crowd just gets up. So this is like totally unsubstantiated conspiracy theory. I totally get that. I'm going to try and keep This Week in Tyranny to facts, but I just found this really, really interesting. I wanted to point it out to you. I'm calling bullshit on this. I reckon it was a bit of a setup. I reckon Bernie Sanders was scheduled to come to Hillary's defense like that. I think there were a handful of plants in the audience, and it only takes a few to affect a very, very large crowd, and they got up and giving a standing ovation. And then the rest of the sheep in that crowd get up and giving a standing ovation to this idea, and that affects millions of people at home. You know, the cameras cut to a crowd shot, and all of a sudden people at home are like, yeah, as good, responsible Democrats, we need to be over this issue. Let's stop talking about Hillary's emails. Anyway, enough on that. I just had a gut feeling about that, so I thought I'd mention it. Total conspiracy theory. I don't have any evidence to suggest that it was orchestrated. I just found it really, really weird. I wondered if you thought it was weird too. That's This Week in Tyranny. Please subscribe to this video channel. You'll get the updates every week, and I'll see you next week. Take care.